Hello, everyone. A warm welcome to our wonderful audience.
This is Le Real Life Talks by NIBM Gavel Club.
Yes, you all heard it right. Let's start today's episode.
Hold on. Kitnuka, why are you wearing like this today?
Because I want to be an exact example for today's session.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting because, my dear audience, today we are going to talk about another two essential parts on about public speaking, leadership, and as well as personal development.
When it comes to public speaking, we are careful about what our speech is. We do a lot of research, we practice well, we try not to make mistakes in our performance. But there's this one important thing many of us forget.
Guess what it is? We put so much effort to make the perfect speech, but we rarely think about the impact of this unique feature, which is our appearance on our audience. Hmm. With that, let's start our first segment.
So today we are going to discuss about personal grooming and personal branding with a very special guest. This is Real Talks where you get the chance to meet creative, innovative professionals for a real talk. Kitnuka, let's introduce our guest to everyone.
So, our guest is a fashion designer and marketing lecturer at AOD, a certified corporate coach on professional grooming. So, please welcome our guest today, Toastmaster Ludmila Bopidia. Toastmaster Ludmila, how are you doing?
I'm doing perfect and wonderful. Thank you
Happy
for
to
having me,
hear.
and I'm so glad to be a part of this.
It's a pleasure and an honor.
Toastmaster Ludmila, since you are a designer, a professional grooming coach, as well as a Toastmaster, you have interesting experiences where you got the chance to witness these three different platforms coming together. So, can we start off a discussion with introducing what is professional grooming and its importance to the society with few examples?
Yes, Kidnuka. So, although I say professional grooming, it's a deviation of personal grooming in general. Now, what is personal grooming? In my opinion, and I believe, personal grooming is about you respecting yourself before you go out into the public, because it's all about you representing who you are as an individual, as a person, and what you believe in this life. So personal grooming is very it's a very emotional, it's a very sensitive topic. Some people choose not to follow that, but simply put, personal grooming is you respecting yourself before you project yourself out into the public. But because you are respecting yourself, you will automatically respect the network that you are a part of, whatever the organization that you are a part of, or I mean, if you are a leader, if you're a speaker, if you are leading some people, if you're leading a community of youth, then you will be inspiring those people as well. So personal grooming is very special for each and everybody. I mean, it's not just a general topic. You can't say, okay, Kitnuka's professional grooming technique would work on me, or Rangika's professional grooming techniques would work on me. No, it's personal to everybody. So simply put, professional or personal grooming is about you deciding to respect yourself and also respecting your network. And you asked me why it is important. So, first of all, personal grooming, or elevating how you look, how you behave, how you project yourself into the world, is a choice that you make. All right. Nobody can force you to do that. Nobody can push you to do that. It's up to you to decide whether you want to do it or not. And when it comes to personal grooming, it doesn't end the minute you leave office. It's about who you are at home and who you are outside in the world. But if you are somebody who wants to only be professional at your workplace, then that's professional grooming. Then you could be somebody who puts on a tie, who wears something nice, goes to work, and be a very professional person in your workplace. But when you come home, you will be like, I want to chill. I don't want to dress up. I don't want to, I want to wear my torn pajamas, and I want to pick my nose and, eat whatever I want, and then, be a couch potato. That's your choice. But it is a lifestyle choice. Now, I personally believe that personal grooming is better than just professional grooming, because in this day and age, our personal lives and professional lives have merged, isn't it? With this all work from home scenario, our lives have merged, our private life and our public lives have merged. So it's quite important for us to, be personally groomed, so that it automatically comes out when we go out into the public, right? So there is a Sinhala saying, it says, Loketa parakase, gedarata maragate. Okay, why be maragates, right? We can be parakase even at home. So because you as a person can influence your family, your friends, your neighbors. So it's all up to you. It doesn't mean you cannot pick your nose or do, um, other stuff, but it's all about making a conscious effort to live a nice, elegant life. It's common for men and it's common for women, but because our private lives and public lives have merged now, okay, we have to make sure that our personal grooming is a part of our day-to-day lives. Because 2 years ago, having a Chung Pang man's music in the background is very unprofessional at an interview. But now it is understandable. Okay. When your cat comes and shows itself in front of the camera, it's understandable. Because of that, personal grooming is vital in this day and age, and especially for younger people like you guys.
Wow, just wow. So, Kitnaka, while I was doing my research about our guest Toastmaster Ludmila, I found a really interesting interview that our guest has done with one of the lifestyle websites. There, I found so many valuable facts, but one really caught my eye. Let me quote it. Clothes should be like a loyal companion. Clothes should be trustworthy friends that boost your confidence. So here you are talking about the connection between clothes and confidence. Toastmaster Ludmila, for a speaker, confidence is highly essential. How a speaker can build their confidence by clothes, selecting the right piece.
Okay. All right. So yes, like I have said in an interview that I cannot remember doing, what I still believe that, because you see, most people say it's not about looks, it's not about the cover, but not a single guy in this planet looks at a girl and thinks, Ane, what kind of a beautiful soul she has. Ane, what kind of a mother she would be, such a kind-hearted, generous grandmother she would be. No, they will look at her backside, they will look at her front side, measure it up, and then decide, okay, she's like a bomb and I'm gonna, activate the bomb. Same with boys, all right? Although we might not look at other private parts, we might look at their face. We don't want to go and kiss a Tarzan looking man, or, a vanilla person we don't want to kiss, right? So it's common for both parties, because we always, as human beings, we respect, or not respect, we decide who this person is from the moment we see them. It's the first impression. And when it comes to a speaker, it's vital, it's very important, because not everyone in this world will become speakers. Whoever who becomes a speaker, she or he has made a choice to go in front of an audience and say something, share a message, right? That itself takes a lot of guts. That itself takes a lot of courage. And we are in a community like that, where, people who believe in, sharing messages and going out there and doing something that people are deadly scared of. And here we are, a community of people who wants to just go out there and talk and get a qualification out of it, all right? Which means we are people who are a little bit different than the masses, okay? So when we go there, we have the power to influence people. We have the power to inspire people. We have the power to persuade people. You can't do that by wearing an amudeno. Nor can you do that wearing flip-flops and skinny jeans and ripped jeans. You can't do that. People will not respect you if you go out there and if you are talking about, let's say, for an example, you're talking about some really important, maybe about environment. Maybe you're talking about the environment, right? And how we can protect it. But you go out there, you wear the, worst looking clothes and take the most hideous looking plastic bag, shopping bag, ටිකක් ඔක්කොම කරේ දාගෙන rubber සේප දෙකක් දාගෙන, if you're going, no, you can't. You make an impact by maybe wearing something linen and wearing a leather pair of shoes, right? And having, minimal makeup, because you're not going there to do an acting job, no? But you are going there to persuade people to take care of this planet, all right? So for a speaker, it's extremely important what you put on yourself before you go out there. Now, because I'm a fashion designer, I'm telling you, personal grooming is not about fashion. It's not about style. It's not about trends. It's about you feeling confident when you go in front of the mirror before the speech. When you get dressed at home, you look at the mirror and you feel like, okay, I've got this. I believe in my message. I can make a change. Now, whatever that you're wearing, if that outfit gives you that feeling, that means you're ready to go out there and speak to an audience. But I am sure that it will not come from stinky underwear, torn vest, or very vest, not from that. Katu gahapu bras, that will not happen, okay? And stinky socks that you wore for the past entire week, and you just gasala wear it before the speech, no, that's not going to happen, okay? What you put on your body before you expose yourself out in the public plays a huge role. So for Rangika's question, what I could say is it's a lifelong experiment, right? What you would wear at your age, I would not be able to wear it at my age, okay? So as a speaker, it is vital, especially from shoes to nails to clothes to, your hair, how it is properly combed. Everything matters, because people first look at you and they decide in 4 seconds whether they like you or not. All right. So if they don't like you, whatever the message that you have to share with this world, even if that is going to help hundreds and thousands of people, it will not go across to that audience. Okay. And we have to respect the fact that there is an audience for us. And these people are actually spending their precious time to come here and listen to us, right? So we are respecting ourselves and we are respecting them. So for all the young people who are new speakers, what I can say is experiment. Just wear things that makes you feel confident. Wear good things. Use that iron, right? Rexona deodorant, wear that. The audience might not come to smell you, but when you smell good, it's good. I mean, I'm in front of a webcam talking to you guys, and I wore my good perfume because I want to feel like I'm right there next to you and helping people. All right. So I mean, it matters a lot. So we have to be memorable. That's how you position your personal brand in somebody else's mindset. Okay. There must have been a reason why Dr. Buddhima has recommended me or, mentioned myself to come and address you. Because somewhere down the line during our speaking engagements, she would have noticed, okay, Ludmila can do something, right? So, we don't talk all the time. We are good friends. On top of her mind, I was positioned because I changed the way I wore things as a speaker for Toastmasters. Usually, when you go for Toastmasters contests, most women wear saris. I can't go to the washroom in a sari. I don't want to fall in a public washroom in a sari. So I choose not to wear saris. All right. So I am a designer. I have to have that signature in my speaker personality as well. Okay. So you could be a designer. You could be an artist. You could be a musician who's happened to be a speaker as well. Right. So remember, your personality, what you put out there, has to have some kind of signature as well. Okay. Who are you, Rangika? Who are you as a person? Are you somebody who loves your hair, right? And that could represent from what you put out there in the world when you go out there for speeches. All right. So as a speaker, that's just one example. As a speaker, you have to be memorable first. then only you can impact the audience with your message. So if you are not memorable, you fail as a speaker. All right. And for you to be memorable, you might have to wear something a little bit bold, maybe professional, maybe, something. Just take chances. Life is short, no? Right? We are in our 20s, and in a matter of seconds, we are in our 30s, right? Too old for some stuff. All right. So because of that, just embrace, be unafraid. As a speaker, I'm telling you, we are like, we are like celebrities in our own form. We have chosen to become celebrities. Okay. We don't act, we don't have any rated movies out there, but we go there with a message. Okay. So if you consider yourself a celebrity and you think that people are looking at you, you have to make an effort to put. So I can't specifically tell girls wear this, boys wear this. I am a designer who says you can wear anything, whether you are a size 20 or a size 8 or, at a Katagoda, no problem. If you want to wear something, just wear it. If you go in front of the mirror and from that mirror reflection, the reflection says, Rangika, you look like a hot piece of cake today, then it's up to you to go out there and just, enjoy the world. All right. So it's very important as a speaker. I went on and on about this, but it's extremely important as fellow speakers and Toastmasters to represent the organization that we are a part of as well as Toastmasters. My humble request for the new generation of Toastmasters is that don't take it for granted. We have been given this beautiful, amazing platform to speak and to, transform ourselves into people that we didn't even know that we can become. So respect that. I was not destined to be a teacher, but because down the line I joined Toastmasters, I found this hidden passion, hidden talent that I didn't know existed in me. I was a fashion designer. I was a successful fashion designer. I was happily in my fashion bubble designing clothes and, I was fantastic. But then Toastmasters happened. And then I realized I have the power of representing and not representing. I have the power to inspire people. And that made me a teacher. It completely upside down transformed my career.
Interesting. The question start. I mean, the whole level was, we had went to another whole level. Started with
I
the
know.
quote, then we went to signatures. Wonderful. I mean, I didn't, the time spent, I didn't even notice how the time spent. It was that much wonderful. Thank you, madam, for that
We should thank
answer.
our mentor, Dr.
DTM Dr.
Buddhima,
Buddhima, for giving this wonderful character
to us.
Such a
That's
wonderful thing.
that's what Toastmasters does. It creates a wonderful network because your network is your net worth,
Totally.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I really like what you mentioned about teacher, because my co-host is also a teacher and she used to say that same thing, the whole outfit and things do matter for us. Thank you for telling how much important is it to a speaker as well as to a normal person. So, madam, the next question that I'd like to ask is, I'll come like this. Once John Adams said, if your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader. When it comes to be a leader, the way you portray yourself helps to inspire others, but it is doubtful whether people think about this or not. Can you explain how the professional grooming is important for a leader with maybe a local example?
Okay. Now, leadership, in my opinion, leadership comes in different forms, right? You could be a political leader. You could be an academical leader. You can be a spiritual leader. You can be a fashionable leader. You can be a leader at home, right? You could be the mother of 3 children, okay? So leadership is everywhere in this world, all right? But here, you have to understand, okay, what is my job and what is my role? Now, Rangika understands this. Being a teacher, the designation is inseparable from my personality. You can't remove teacher and take only Ludmila out. You can't remove teacher and remove Rangika out. No, Rangika is a teacher. So I'm just giving you an idea about leadership, all right? So if you are somebody like a CEO who is running a company, you can't be, you can't go into a corner of the road, stand next to a petti kade and smoke a joint. You can't do that because you are representing your company, right? You are the biggest, the largest, the most impactful brand ambassador of that company, all right? So here I want to mention something that one of my lecturers told me. He said, if you want to be anything in this world, it could be a CEO, it could be president, it could be whatever you want. You might not be there as yet, but you have to wear that invisible hat and act like you are that already. So if you want to be a leader, you have to act like a leader. Okay, maybe who's the people, the children who are listening to me, they might want to be leaders in the future, right? We have only very few examples in this country to look up to, right? Remember, some professions cannot be removed from your personal life. Okay, so when you pick your career, when you pick your life, you have to be very specific, very clear about which path you have taken, and then live up to that career. Okay, so when Kitnuk asked me, okay, what do you think a leader should wear, how can leaders project themselves? Well, we are all leaders. Even if you are an executive, even if you are at home, you could be the leader to your sibling, you could be the leader to your friend. All right, so I don't see, we are all leaders at one point in our life. We are all that, and we are all followers. Okay, so try to find people who you can look up to, and maybe benchmark them, understand, be educated. Now for me in my profession, I absolutely love this professional grooming and understanding this subject. It's a vast subject. So whom do I look up to? I look up to people in royal families, monarchies. They, how do they act? They are the most elite in this world, isn't it? Because we can't look at some people that we have access in this country, no? Okay, unfortunately some industries don't have the right people leading them. Okay, so we just ask yourself, whom do I respect? What do I see in them? All right, so if I take speakers, I have several people that I look up to in this country. If you take leaders, now for me, one of my favorite icons or idols of this country is Shaban Daniel, right? Someone, that person who is, he's a director at Maharaja, and he's someone, even if you see him on the road, I have seen a couple of times at one golf face or wherever, he's always impeccably dressed, right? He's behaved impeccably. When he's with his son, he sits nicely, right? And I mean, it doesn't matter whether he's in a shopping mall or at office, it's him, right? The same amount of respect is acquired because he acts his part. So for your question, Kitnuka, what I can say is, like I said, this entire grooming thing is a choice we make. And as leaders, we have to understand what is our role. We can't be talking about each and every profession. So you have to ask yourself, okay, who am I? Am I a teacher? Am I a professor? Am I a doctor? Am I a pilot? Am I an engineer? Okay. Can I leave my job the minute I leave work? Then fine, then you can come home, get dirty, do whatever. But if you cannot remove your profession from your personality, then you are in a very important role and very significant role. So because of that, take it seriously. And it's all about thoughts. So I can give you pointers. I can say you can wear a jacket, you can wear a pant, you can wear, make sure you iron your clothes. No, not that. Grooming is larger than that. It's bigger than that. It's about changing your mindsets. We were, or most of you who will be listening to this might be having that iricha pajama at home, that you wear to sleep, that sunny, soft one, where when you lift your hand, you can see the entire side part of your body. We all have that. But it's a choice we make to, the minute it gets torn, you remove it. And if you're wearing something good at home, that's a choice that you have made. Okay, so likewise, it's common. We cannot differentiate people from leaders and followers and all that. We are all human beings. And if we want to respect ourselves, we have to think about, be mindful about what we wear, how we project ourselves out into the world. All right. And another thing that I want to mention is, just because you are dressed now, sometimes leaders have more money than the followers that they have, right? But just because you wear the most amazing clothes, most amazing outfits, and if you don't treat people right, that itself breaks down your entire grooming technique. Okay, because you cannot wear something really really nice and get people's respect when you are mean to them. Okay, so grooming is all about your speech, your way of treating other people, and also attitude. So as a leader, what I would say is, it's extremely vital as well.
Dear audience, please take note of this wonderful session because these tips are really life-changing. Kitnuka, we all are different from one another. That's what makes us unique in this world. As a speaker, as well as a leader, creating your own identity to show your uniqueness, how you differ from each other, what's special in you is really important. Now comes the idea of personal branding. Toastmaster Ludmila, what is actually personal branding and how it makes us unique?
My favorite subject. Okay, so
Can be
personal
interesting.
branding. Yes, personal branding is it's for, we are all there. We are all personal brands. Okay, some way or the other, we are all personal brands. Now, 20 years ago, 50 years ago, our grandmothers, our mothers did not have to worry about personal branding. Why? Because they only had exposure to their family or to the workplace that they have. But thanks to the social media era, we are all brands, whether we like it or not. Okay, so personal branding is extremely important in this day and age, and now even more so because we are at home, we are in a pandemic, and most people spend hours and hours on social media. Okay, so personal branding is not just social media, but because we are stuck at home, it has become really, the exposure has become even more because we have too many apps right now. You guys are on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, I don't know, Snapchat. I don't have a clue what Snapchat is, or TikTok. I mean, however, something that I want you to remember is, my father has taught me, when you make decisions in life, right, when you make certain decisions, make sure that you don't do things that are irreversible, which means you cannot reverse them. For an example, having a child, getting a tattoo, okay, getting married to the wrong person, right? You can divorce, but you're going to waste your time and that will always be a black mark, okay? And becoming and losing your respect, or your, losing your respect for any person, all right? So these are irreversible. So is social media. What you put out there into the world, what you share, what you like, what you follow, everything is out there. It is irreversible. You might delete the picture, but somewhere somebody might have saved it. Okay, and people will remember. All right. So we have to be very careful. I have been on social media since 2007. That's 14 years. Okay. I must have lost many hours there, and I have done mistakes. When I look back now, those memories come up and I want to kill myself, because memories from 10 years ago, when I was a kid, not a kid, when I was quite young, and what we did, when that comes up, I cringe, because thank God they are under privacy settings. If not, imagine all the students who are following me when this comes and pops out. Okay, having fun, or I mean, it's not bad things. I haven't done bad things, but the stupid things that I had posted. Okay.
Mhm.
I want to tell you an example here, personal example. Before I met my husband, I had only 2 boyfriends. Okay. However, and those 2 boyfriends, it was a very long relationship, 7 years, 5 years, long years. All right. But, and I used to live in Colombo. But, somehow those pictures might have gone out nowhere when we go out with friends. 7 years, 5 years is a long time. So it becomes normal. So it has gone. And people have in my hometown have told my grandparents and my other relatives that I have been dating so many people and then being not nice. And I asked myself, I had only 2 boyfriends, just 2.
Mhm.
Imagine the girls who are dating couple of people and putting pictures out there. Imagine the reputation that these the because unfortunately we are in a very culturally screwed up country. Okay, so we have to understand what we put out there, especially girls, right? Be very vigilant about who takes your pictures, what kind of videos you take. All right, do not take any videos. Do not trust your boyfriend 99%, but don't trust him 1%. Okay, so things change, love changes. All right, so when we hire people and when you go on their Facebook, I see my students Facebook stuff and it's hideous, right? You don't want to make a stupid I mean, maybe that person is intelligent, but what they put out to the world, or those TikTok videos, I would say TikTok is a is a murderer of reputations. All right, everybody's doing this and that, and showing off their butt. And I mean, there's no talent in it. You're not singing, you're just mimicking somebody's steps, and some children can't even dance, for God's sake. I don't know why they do that, right? So, you, as people who have chosen to be in a Toastmasters movement, who have chosen to become speakers, you are different. Like I said, we are in the 1% of the masses. We shouldn't do the madness, right? I love my husband, but if I go on his wall and say, baby, I love you, you are my everything, without you, I can't eat, you are my kiribat, I can't. I mean, what will happen to his profession? What will happen to my profession? It's okay. You can have a balance. You can fantastically balance your life, but be very vigilant about what you put out there. And your profile picture is you. Rangika Jayasundara is you, not somebody who is pasted onto you, right? Okay, it could be a best friend, it could be a husband. No, it doesn't matter. It could be a balla. Don't worry. But your professional page, I mean, whether it is Facebook or whatever, your profile picture is you, right? I see a lot of people having this multiple pictures. That's fine. That's their choice. But I believe if we are leaders and if we are speakers, Ludmila Bokitiya is Ludmila Bokitiya, not the person she's married to, not the dog she owns, not the best friends that she's with. All right, that's my page, that's my face. So be very vigilant what you put out there, because when it comes to the term personal branding, it's very scary to see. All right, I see lots of people ruining their reputation on TikTok. Remember, you might just be studying or doing whatever, but when you go for a job, they're going to do a background check. Okay, so the easiest way you can start thinking about your person, because this is coming out not from a 45-year-old. I have actually done mistakes. I have seen what people have done. I have seen many of my girlfriends going through a lot of problems because of being exposed on the digital platforms. So be very vigilant. Your personal brand depends on what you put out there digitally. First step. Second step, the way you behave, the way you do things, the qualifications that you want to take, your friends also is a big part of your personal brand. Okay, the 5 people that you associate the most is how people will define you, right? If you're dating, if not dating, if you are hanging out with 5 drunkards, even if you drink milk, you are considered a drunkard. Okay, and if you are going out with 5 really bad girls who have like 500 boyfriends and parties all the time, and you're the innocent one, doesn't matter, you are a part of them. So your friends are also a massive part of who you are as a personal brand. Okay, so for your question that you asked, the easy personal branding is a vast subject again, just like grooming. But my first step is think before you put it out on digital media. If you love your boyfriend, write a card and post the damn thing. Don't go on his wall and go on and on and on and on about how good he is. Okay. There's time for him to prove that. If he gives you a house, if he gives you a car, if he gives you diamonds, if he sends your family on a Europe trip, that's a different story. But still don't put it on digital media, because either it comes out as bragging, boasting, or just plain stupid. Okay? Love is something very private, right? So do it privately. And that will actually fix your personal brand. And I am personally do not like TikTok. Do not do that if you want to be considered a leader or a speaker or a teacher. Okay.
That's interesting. That itself brought up many truths actually, which I also, I also prefer not to have and stuff. I really like the flow going on. I shout out my friends also because I'm here because of them. Shout out them as well.
Exactly.
And Toastmaster Ludmila, continuing, I believe personal branding with this all the examples you brought up is a more like kind of a rising topic still, right?
Yes.
So can we have a few ways that we can present ourselves more as an attractive brand? Now we talk about social media and
Yes.
stuff.
Yes.
So how can we portray ourselves more attractively as a speaker, as a leader, or any field, a professional field that we are in? How to make it a success move?
Okay. So a few steps, a few things that I personally do, I can share with you. There is no right and wrong. I mean, there's no step-by-step guidebook for you to adjust your brand or present your brand. But what you can do is, first of all, understand who you are and what your values are. Okay. Your values will differ from one person to the other, right? So if you are somebody who values kindness, right? So that's, I mean, I personally did this when I was going into this personal grooming thing. Do a mind map. Write your name in the middle. Kitnuka. Who is Kitnuka? Is he intelligent? Do I want to be known as an intelligent person? Do I want to be known as a respected person? Am I a rich and powerful person? Am I a kind-hearted person? Am I a loyal friend? Right? Just like that, do a mind map about who you are. That's the easiest way, the best first step that you can take into understanding your personal brand. Because our entire life, we will try to understand who we are. Maybe you want to be kind now, but with time, in 10 years' time, you might decide, no, I want to be more brave than kind. Okay? Kind doesn't work for me. All right? So, likewise, first step is to do a good mind map and understand what your values are, what your principles are, especially principles. You have to have certain principles. All right? I will not do certain things. I will not do drugs in my life. I will not. I will not date um, drunkards. Okay, I will not wear short skirts. All right, I will not what else, some principles like that. I will not disrespect people. Okay, I will not lie. I will not cheat. Now for some boys and some girls, that's not a choice. They say, I want to enjoy life, I want to have multiple boyfriends. Okay, that's their principle. It's not a bad thing. We are not the judge of anybody. All right, what they do with their body, what they do with their character, their personality is their job. Okay, so you ask yourself, am I somebody who can adapt and respect anybody that comes across my life? Now, I personally can't do that. All right. Sometimes I get, I don't like certain people. I don't like people who show off or brag. I can't get along with them. So my principle is to stay away from these kinds of people. I have a very, very basic communication with them, but I don't associate, nor do I open up my life for them to come into mine. All right. So these are principles. That's another thing. Understand your values and principles. Then, second step, go to your cupboard and throw away all the irichandu. Okay, torn stuff, remove them. All right. Even if you are left with one sarong to wear because everything else is torn, fine, that's okay. All right. Respect yourself. We don't, I mean, why do we call beggars beggars? It's because they don't have it. All right. So we don't want to be somebody like that when we have things. All right. So one of the best things that you can actually do is go there and remove everything that is not complementing you as that new person that you have identified. Right? You know your values, you know your principles, you know who you are. Right? You want, maybe you know how you want to be projected. What does Rangika want to be projected as? Am I a kind-hearted person? Am I bold and independent? Right? So what I wear in my cupboard, does that represent who I am? If not, it's time to give it away or to throw. Okay. And the next one is continuing to, one of the main things that differentiate a person who has a good personal brand is they know, they are passionate about something. All right. They have an undying passion to learn something, right? Not just general stuff. Now, let's say Kitnuka might be interested in historical events or historical things. And if you speak to him, he can talk about the Siberian War, the Russian Tsars, or what's happening in Israel and Palestine. I have no clue about those things. I have no idea what's happening in Afghanistan, Israel, because I am not interested. But if somebody is talking about it, I would love to listen. I would love to have learned something from them. So if you want to be a good personal brand, you need to have a passion project, something that you are continuously learning and acquiring knowledge on. Now, I am a fashion and marketing teacher, but my whole world is defined by my business, which is teaching people how to make their own clothes. All right. I teach women to simply sew their own clothes in a world where there's enough and more clothes out there to buy. Why do I do that? Because they don't have money? No, all my customers and my students are extremely wealthy. Why they do that is they wanted a hobby. I believe in hobbies. And if somebody asks me about creativity, habits, hobbies, I have enough and more things to talk about. And if somebody comes and talks about sewing, I don't think that person can leave me because I will keep him in a room and then just talk about sewing. So if you want to be memorable and known and be interesting, be attractive, have a passion project. This is something that is lacking in our day and age. People are just doing the same general things. If you are somebody who's a keen reader, now in my value system, something that I learned is I only keep people who adds value to my life in my network. Even friends, even best friends, people who adds value to my life. I had lots and lots of friends, but with time, I removed the unwanted people, the toxic people, and I have people who adds value to my life. All right. So if you want to be someone who can add value to somebody else's life, that itself makes you attractive. Not your smile, not the money you have, not the phones or the stuff that you have, but your undying that fire within you. So before going into clothes and presenting yourself and shoes and cleanliness, these are general knowledge. It will come to you, right? But why it doesn't come to people is because they don't know who they are. Okay, so they don't know. If they know, everything comes. If you know you are an independent, you want to be like James Bond, then Kitnuka will be wearing James Bond stuff. It will automatically come to him. Nobody has to teach him, go to this place, get that cloth, get that blazer. No, you will know because you are James Bond. Okay, so those are my 3 steps. Understand who you are, write down that mind map, and remove everything that doesn't complement your personality from your closet, from those torn shoes, everything. And number 3, find a passion project, something that you are keen about, passionate about, and that you have a fire within. So that makes you very special from all the masses of people who are all mediocre. We are not mediocre people. We are Toastmasters.
Okay, so we learned a lot about personal grooming and personal branding thanks to our guest today.
Strong statements made. Strong statements made to the audience as well.
Of course.
Valuable information. Valuable.
Yes, of course. So throughout our discussion, we were mainly focusing on leaders and speakers. So Toastmaster Ludmila, as the final question, can I ask you some general dressing etiquettes that Sri Lankan should pay attention to according to your opinion?
Okay. Leaders and speakers, we are just one. That's one.
Yeah.
You're a speaker, you're a leader. And if you're a leader, you have to be a speaker. Okay.
True.
So general things that you can do is, my first and foremost advice is, you can buy class, but you can't be classy. Okay. You can spend money and buy the latest accessories and the designer clothes and all that. But that doesn't mean you're classy. And for you to be classy, you have to treat people right, you have to respect people right, and you have to present yourself right. Okay. So remember that phrase, you can buy class, but you can't be classy.
So Toastmaster Ludmila, thank you so much for joining with us today. It's like such an honor to be with you. So you gave a really valuable insight of the importance of personal grooming and as well as personal branding. What are the final thoughts you would like to share with our audience? So this is the summarize.
So let's hear Madam Ludmila's thoughts.
My final thoughts would be, I'm really glad that the young people are now more keen about elevating their personality. This is something that is very important and that has been actually taken into action for the past couple of years. I have seen this happening in state universities as well as through this Toastmasters network, because our image, the entire cover that we put out into the world, is what people see first and what they perceive about us before they actually get to know us. All right. So when we go buy a book, although we say we should not judge it by a cover, the cover actually attracts us into that book, right? Whatever that is inside, the content comes later. Same thing applies to us. Our cover captures our audiences, captures our network. And if you are somebody who has a treasure of knowledge, or a treasure full of content that can amuse the world, that can inspire the world, that can persuade the world, that will only come out if your cover is accepted by the public. All right. So if your cover is right, your content will usually easily go out into the world, and your message effortlessly reaches out to the people that you want to reach it out to, as well as you end up being a successful speaker in your life, a leader in your life, and also, end of the day, a successful human being, because people will remember you in a very good vibe long after you are gone. I want to be remembered as the jolly good lecturer that they had. Okay.
Of course.
Same with you all. Remember, what is your legend? Live your legend. That's my last message. If you want to become a legend, live as you are a legend. And the day you are gone, you have nothing to regret. People will remember you for the legend that you have left. So that's my message.
Dear audience, we have come to the ending of our episode, and we really hope you enjoyed and made notes of all interesting tips that Toastmaster Ludmila taught us in order to use in the appropriate times to get the maximum value of it.
Toastmaster Ludmila, thank you so much for joining with us today. It was a pleasure and an honor to have you on board with us.
Of course, with that promise of meeting you with another interesting and valuable session, we are signing off.